everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this piece. For the original design I had a different color of flower, but I decided to recreate this piece so that we can have a tutorial from start to finish. So for this version I will do a pink and yellow flower as opposed to the yellow and yellow flower for the original design, but everything is basically the same. So if you would like the written pattern, it's already available on all my online shops, and this is part of a set. I'll be revealing the bottom part of this design in my next video. This was a custom order for one of my clients, Esther, and yeah, today I'm teaching you how to make this beginner friendly bandeau top with a flower detail in the middle, just for aesthetics, something a little cute to add to your boring crochet pieces. So let's jump right into the materials. So for the materials, I needed yarn. The yarn that I'm using is Robin 100% acrylic. It's a light fingering weight yarn, so I needed about 2 to 3 balls total to make my top. But just to be on a safe side, have 4 balls around if you're using a fingering weight yarn with 2 strands. Each ball of this is 300 yards and 50 grams. So find the substitute yarn. If you're using a DK weight yarn, then you will need a single strand and half of the amount that I used. So if I said 3 balls, that means I used about 900 yards. And for you who is using a single strand of DK weight, you should be needing half of the yarn, which is 450 to 500 yards of yarn. So you will also need a measuring tape. The measurement that we're going to consider for this design is the bust circumference. And then you will also need a darning needle and a 4mm crochet hook, plus a pair of scissors. And then you will need some stitch markers just to keep track of where you are. And yeah, that's basically it. Let's jump right into the video. So this design is worked wrapping around your bust. So our foundation chain is going to start off with a slip knot, and we're going to make a chain that is the thickness of the top that we want. For me, I'm considering 31 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So I have my 31 chains, and this measures about 7 inches without stretching. When stretched, it goes to about 8.5. But for me, this is the thickness that I considered. If you want yours to be thinner, then you're going to reduce the foundation chain of your piece. So another thing is the foundation chain should be an odd number. As you can see, I have 31 chains. And then we're going to go into the second chain from the hook, which is this one, and place a single crochet. And then double crochet into the next. Single crochet into the next chain and double crochet into the next. Single into the next and double crochet into the next. So this pattern is worked and explained in US terms. Continue to alternate between single crochet and double crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next, and double crochet into the next. So each chain is getting 1 stitch all the way across, and you're going to make sure that you end your row with a double crochet stitch. All right, so we're coming to the end of row 1. And we are ending our row with a double crochet into the very final chain. So this is what your work will look like. We're going on to row 2. You're going to make a chain of 1 and turn your work. And into the double crochet here, you're going to place a single crochet. And then into the next single crochet, you're going to place a double crochet. So from now on, all our rows start with a single crochet and end with a double crochet. And make sure on top of every double crochet you place a single, and on top of every single crochet you place a double. So you're going to go all the way across, alternating between the 2 stitches. And this is called the lemon peel stitch. It's going to create a very rich texture, just as you can see here. So we are working all the way from here and building around the body towards the back and then back to the front, if that makes sense. So it's going to be a flat rectangle that we are building right now. So where we are right now is this. We are going to build a very long rectangle that can wrap around our bust when stretched. So keep alternating between single crochet and double crochet, and I'll meet you back towards the end of row 2. All right, so we're coming to the end of row 2, and you should end with a double crochet into the last single crochet of the previous row. And this is what we have. We're going to keep repeating row 2 again and again until this grows into a very long rectangle that can wrap around our bust when stretched. So don't forget, we always start with a chain of 1 and then turn our work so that we are working in the opposite direction of the previous row, and then single crochet into the very first double crochet of the previous row and double crochet into the next single crochet. The moment you get this right, you're going to just keep alternating between single and double crochet. And now for beginners who may be confused about where to place the double and the single, you should notice that some stitches are short. For example, this one. The short stitches are single crochets. That means they receive double crochets. And then the longer stitches which bulge a bit, those are double crochets, and those ones get a single crochet. And a double crochet is yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then for a single crochet, you're going to just insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all the 2 loops on your hook. So keep alternating between the 2 stitches until the end of the row, making sure that you end your row with a double crochet into the very last stitch of the previous row. And keep repeating row 2 again and again, and I'll meet you back when I have my desired length of the bandeau top. Alright guys, we repeated row 2 until our bandeau top could stretch to our bust circumference. As you can see, without stretching, it's at 26 inches, but when stretched, it can go all the way to 32 inches, which is the bust circumference that I am considering for my design, also for my client. So once you get that measurement, you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. Sorry, my scissors are blunt, but I don't know where the new scissors are. So you're going to pull through, and this is what you're going to have. something that looks like this. It's long enough, but we can't cover it on the whole screen, so I'm going to just fold it like this. And then we're going to go ahead and get rid of these loose ends, either by using a darning needle or by tying a knot. If you've used a double strand, you can just go ahead and tie a knot for the 2 strands that you're using for your project. And then you can cut off the excess yarn, or you can use a darning needle and weave it in so that we don't have these loose ends. So this is what we have. Now you're going to get your yarn and you're going to make a very long chain. For me, I'm going to make a chain of 200. Make a slip knot, and still using a 4mm, you're going to make your long chain. Alright guys, I have made 200 chains, but you can make it longer or shorter depending on the length that you want your chain to be. And now you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, pull through, and leave a tail behind. You're going to thread this tail into a darning needle, and we're going to create some sort of gathering at the front of the top. So you're going to start from any side. You go in and out of every 2 stitches on the edge row. Now I'm on one of the sides of the bandeau top, going in and out of every 2 stitches. This doesn't have to be so accurate. You can just put it wherever it feels comfortable. And then you're going to pull through, just like that, and leave a tail behind here. Actually, I would have done a total of 300 chains, but 200 is just fine as well. Then you're going to go in and out of every 2 stitches on this side as well. The opposite side of the bandeau top. You should notice that we're doing this on the edges of the top. And just like that, you're going to pull through. And this is what we have right now. And once you do this, you're going to balance the chain that you have on both sides of the top. And when we pull it, it's going to create something that looks like this. That looks like this. And this is exactly what we want. So at this point, you're going to just tie it like this. And get rid of these loose ends. You can attach tassels if you wish, but for me, mine are going to be plain. Alright, so once you're done with that part, we are going to create a very cute flower that's going to rest at this point in the middle bottom of the top. So to do that, I'm going to demonstrate one of the flowers in pink and one of the flowers. Alright, so as I was saying, I'm going to demonstrate one of the flowers in pink and the other one in yellow. Now, for my actual top, I did one in sunshine yellow and the other one in mustard yellow. So, for the lower flower, I'm going to demonstrate that with the pink color. And you can use any color of your choice that can match the top color. So I'll be using this pink color. I just want two flowers that are different colors. So I'm going to start off with a magic ring and make a chain of 1. And then I'm going to make a chain 1 and go into the magic ring with a total of 8 single crochets. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So once I'm done with my 8 single crochets, I'm going to close off the magic ring and slip stitch into the top of the first single crochet. Insert your hook and pull through all. And now we are going on to round 2. You're going to make a chain of 1, and into the same stitch you're going to place 1 single crochet, and in each of the next 7 stitches you're going to go in there with 2 single crochets. So 2 single crochets in each of the next 7 stitches, and that will bring us to a total of 15 single crochets for round 2. All right, just to cross check, we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 and 15. So once you have 15 single crochets, you're going to go into the very first single crochet of the round, insert your hook and pull through all. So that's a slip stitch. That marks the end of round 2. For round 3, you're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as our very first double crochet. And into the same stitch you're going to go in there with 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochets into the next stitch, 1 and 2. Then into the next stitch you're going to place 1 double crochet, and then make a chain of 3 and slip stitch into the same stitch with the previous double crochet. So that will create our very first petal. You're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 3, into the same stitch you're going to go in there with 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets into the next stitch, and into the next stitch you're going to place 1 double crochet, chain 3 and slip stitch into the same stitch as the previous double crochet. So that will create our second petal. So we're going to repeat this all the way around until we have a total of 5 petals. So slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 3, into the same stitch you're going to place 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets into the next stitch, and into the next you're going to go in there with 1 double crochet, chain 3 and slip stitch into the stitch with the previous double crochet. That will give us a total of 3 petals. You're going to repeat this. Slip stitch into the next stitch, and by now you know how to create your petal. You're going to just repeat the same exact process that we've been doing for all the other petals, so that we have a total of 5 petals. So after your 4th petal, you should notice that you have 3 stitches left. So we have 1 2 3 4, and then we have 3 stitches left. So you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch and create your very last petal by chaining 3 into the same stitch. You're going to place a double crochet, 2 double crochets into the next stitch, and then into the last stitch you're going to place 1 double crochet, chain 3, slip stitch into the stitch with the previous double crochet, and then slip stitch into the stitch with the chain 3 at the beginning of the round. Then make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, pull through, and that marks the end of our very first flower. This is the flower that's going to be down below the smaller flower on top. So see what we have right now. It's actually looking cute, yellow and pink. I didn't think the combination would be nice, but I'm loving it so far. So my smaller flower that's going to sit on this is going to be the top color. So I'm going to reintroduce my mustard yellow, and we're going to go ahead and create a cute smaller flower that's going to sit on top of this one. So you're going to create a magic ring, just like this, and then make a chain of 1 to close it off. This doesn't count as anything, so you're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as our very first double crochet, and then into the same exact ring you're going to place alright, so you're going to go into the magic ring with another double crochet and then chain 3 and slip stitch into the magic ring, just like that. And then you're going to make a chain of 3 and 2 double crochets into the magic ring, chain 3 and slip stitch into the magic ring. That's our second petal. You're going to repeat the same exact process. So chain 3, 2 double crochets into the magic ring, chain 3, slip stitch into the magic ring, chain 3, 2 double crochets into the ring. So our aim is to get a total of 5 petals. So chain 3 and slip stitch into the ring, chain 3. So far we have a total of 4 petals and we want 5. So after a chain of 3, 2 double crochets into the ring, and then make a chain of 3 and slip stitch into the ring, and then make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. Pull through, and then you can close off the magic ring by pulling on the tail. And just like that, we have our simple flower. You can go ahead and tie these 2 tails together just to secure the magic ring from opening up. Okay, so this is the front side of our small flower. We're going to place it on top of this one. So you can see how pretty the combination looks. You can also go ahead and get this loose end and bring it to the center of the flower, the bigger flower. You're going to thread the tail of the last round and bring it closer to the tail of the magic ring. And just like that, you can go ahead and make a knot for the 2 tails just to secure the magic ring so that it doesn't open up. So at this point, we've secured both flowers. We have this one and this one. So we're going to go ahead and get the tails of the smaller flower and pass them through the bigger flower. Any space, just make sure that the spaces are separated, just like that. And this is what you're going to have at the back of your work. You're going to have the pink tails as well as the yellow tails. So this is what we have for now. You're going to make sure that you center your flower in the middle of the bigger flower, and then we're going to attach into so you see, I'm going to open up this piece a little bit. I want to be able to get this area here, that string that passes below the top. That's where I want to tie my flowers, so that when you pull on it, somehow it's always centered in the middle of the piece. So I'm going to get the tails, 2 tails on this side and 2 tails on this side of the chain, and then flip my work over, and I'm going to make a knot. That's how you're going to achieve a well-centered flower. So So just like that, you're going to make sure that this tail is secure. So I'm going to make a knot 3 times, and then I can cut off the excess yarn. So this is what you're going to have. So when you're pulling on the strands, somehow it's always in the center of your top. So let me go ahead and cut off the extra strands of yarn at the back of the flowers, and then this can tie at the back of the neck. You can decide to style this flower in any way you wish. You can just tie it as a bandeau top, or you can have these strands or the straps go around the neck. You can create an X at the front of the top and tie behind the neck. You can style it several ways, as you can see my client in this image. And that basically marks the end of this tutorial, guys. Go ahead and weave in all your ends and your top will be ready to wear and style. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.